now it's time for Fantasy Fanatics.
He said it was too loud.
Welcome into Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
I'm Andrew Freeman.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
Yes, and welcome into the show, everybody. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Ryan Stuprich.
I'm at Freeman Radio.
I am at rrisky16.
Yes, and before we get things started, in honor of Peyton Manning, because he's a cool quarterback, we all like him, don't we?
Yeah, I enjoy
He's
it.
calling into the show.
Oh, yeah, I wish.
Yeah, he's going to call into the show. But
That'd be
anyway,
great.
this is just a song that Andrew found, sort of about Peyton Manning. You know, he always says Omaha when he's doing his cadences.
Yes.
So yes, this is the Omaha song that some rock band. I don't think they're a popular band.
No,
right?
no, not at all.
No, it's a no-name band, but they made this.
Go back, there's that sound. Here it comes, back before a touchdown. No clue what the heck is gonna do. Has a vision, changing decisions. Why's he yelling that name at me? I have a huge concern.
People ask what Omaha means. It's a run play, but it could be a pass play.
Omaha,
Yeah.
Omaha,
Yeah. That's my jam. All right. That's enough. That's enough of that Omaha
It's
song.
over.
How long is it?
It's over.
2.5. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, it was only like
Yeah.
42 seconds. But anyway, there was a big Thursday night game last night as you two, being Andrew and Ryan Risky, picked the Redskins over the Giants. I picked the Giants, and I was right.
You know, I still stand behind my pick. I think it was 100% right. I just think there was some Jeter fairy dust floating in the air that Eli Manning somehow inhaled.
It was a
and
night for New York, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then the Jets will go and ruin it and lose to the Lions.
Exactly.
Probably.
But yeah, that game, I mean, Eli Manning had one hell of a game, and Kirk Cousins, he doesn't seem like he's the answer for the Redskins either.
As of right now, does RG3 seem like the answer, though?
No, but of course he's going to be hurt.
I would give it
for a
another
while.
week before we go to that, because you're talking about a guy that just threw for 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception the week before. I
Yeah,
believe
that's
Nick
true.
Foles had some issues when he took over, too.
Well, another thing is he's also getting used to Jay Gruden's new offense, and it seems like his offense is better suited for a quarterback like Cousins than it would be for RG3. And another thing, last year against the Giants, Cousins only threw for 167 yards, so maybe that's just the team that figured him out.
And before we continue, let's go over the agenda for the day.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the Thursday night game now. Also, later on in the show, we're going to have our Week 4 picks. That'll be on a little later. And then we'll tell you how we did in our Week 3 picks. We'll also tell you who to start and who to sit for this week, for this upcoming Sunday.
You should
and then, of course,
start
the Monday
Larry
night game.
Donnell.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Although that already
Definitely.
happened.
That is some hindsight there.
And I mean, I did start him, so I was pretty happy about
in
that.
one of my leagues out of my 6, yeah. I wish I was a genius in all of my leagues.
It's hard to do,
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So who surprised you the most in that Thursday night game?
Donnell.
Yeah, having 3 touchdowns, having their 3 first
He
scores.
usually gets around 50 yards per game, but the 3
And 5
touchdowns.
catches,
Yeah. 3 touchdowns is ridiculous.
Right.
The Julius Thomas breakout tight end of the year.
That's
Probably not that good because he has the other Manning.
Well, the thing is, Donnell was literally the only person getting yards for the Giants in the first 3 weeks. What is this, week 4?
Yeah, it's week 4.
He was the only one getting anything done. So, I don't know. Maybe he's just that good, or Eli is really slow to warm up.
Their other tight end, his last name is Helms. He has 6 catches on the season, and 3 of those have been for touchdowns.
Wow. That's a good rate. I like that rate. But also
Yeah,
another
Not for
player,
fantasy.
Another player that surprised me was the Giants' defense.
Yeah, exactly.
4 interceptions, a forced fumble recovery. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins surprised me at how bad he was. 5 turnovers when you just threw for 400 yards.
A fumble at the very beginning of the game, which sort of set the tone of the night.
Right.
There had to be magic in there. It's Jeter's fault.
I guess it's all his fault.
I'm not going to tip my cap anymore.
No.
You
are
go.
Are you done?
You're
done tipping your cap.
Yeah.
Who surprised you in the running game for the Giants? Because they had some towards the end. They were wasting the clock pretty well, and they were not letting the Redskins get back into that game at all.
Rashad Jennings didn't really get that much done.
No, at the beginning he was pretty decent. I think he had 9 rushes for 39 yards at the beginning, and then he finished with only 44, so they weren't rushing with him much.
Andre Williams had some spurts of awesomeness, but
Eli Manning had a rushing touchdown.
which is just not
that
cool
was
at
pretty
all.
weird.
Not cool, Eli. Stop hogging all the touchdowns. You and Donnell. It's
Yeah.
the Eli and Donnell show.
Well, and that
Sounds like
takes
something
away
ABC would pick up.
and that takes away from Victor Cruz, of course. You know, he hasn't done much
He
this
still
year.
had 108 yards.
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
a good day,
He's turning
but
his season around.
if he could have got that touchdown, it would have been nice. Didn't he get a touchdown last week?
Yeah, and he had like over 100
he had
yards
one.
again last week.
Yeah, so finally picking up on the throw game there. Why does it take... It seems like every year Eli takes a while to sort of get into game mode. Why do you guys think that is?
Well, of course, last year he never really got into game mode.
Well,
but-
last year he also had no running game.
True.
Because they were starting Brandon Jacobs.
David Wilson really fell through on that one. I would know because I had him in my league. In one of my leagues, I had 2 leagues. One of my leagues, I had C.J. Spiller in David Wilson. Guess how I did in that league?
0 wins.
Thank you.
No-
I went
no
7
wins
and
at all.
7 because
Oh.
I'm amazing. I traded Martellus Bennett for MJD, and I got 7 and 7.
Do you want to hear some guy in my league last year being a major moron?
Yeah, sure.
2nd overall pick, he took Doug Martin.
Wow.
Nice. That's sort of like in the 5th round taking Seattle defense. I mean, how's that working out for you?
Not very good.
Oh, I'm not even finished. 2nd round, he took Trent Richardson.
Ugh.
I mean, Trent Richardson had a good rookie year, but after that, that was it. That's probably pretty much all.
Pretty much.
3rd round, he took Matt Ryan, and then the next pick, a guy took Peyton Manning.
Wow. Well, people are holding off on Peyton Manning because they're like, is his Nick
Is
gonna
he
hold
done?
up?
Except Manning was like the 5th or 6th quarterback taken in our, like Brady, Rodgers, Ryan, and Stafford all went before, and Breeze all went before Manning in my league last year.
Yeah, that's a little surprising.
I ended up taking Rivers in the 3rd to last round, and that was a big pick for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then 4th round, he took Randall Cobb.
Okay. Yeah.
He
wow.
won 2 games,
That happened.
Well, is that? I'm sure that.
and
that
one of
was
the
last
games he
place.
won was because he had Tony Romo. He started Tony Romo that game against the Broncos. When he threw for
okay.
over 500 yards.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that game. Yeah.
All right. What's up next?
Well, Kirk Cousins for the Thursday night game, just going over the numbers, his positive numbers anyway, not including the 5 turnovers.
I feel like all those numbers are pretty negative.
Yeah. Well,
Just look at his receivers. It's like Garcon and Deshaun Jackson combined for 3 catches.
The team leaders for receiving was Roy Halou with 5 receptions, 78 yards, and then Paul with 3 receptions, 60 yards. But Kirk Cousins had 19 completions and 33 attempts, 257 yards, 1 touchdown.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Who'd the touchdown even go to?
I don't remember who it was
'Cause
to.
Didn't Niles Paul leave with an injury?
Yes.
Yeah,
he
he
only
did.
got 60 yards, I think.
Yeah, it was 3 receptions, 60 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the only person really doing anything positive on that team was Alfred Morris.
Yeah.
Late in the game, broke for a 20-yard touchdown.
Yeah, he had 63 yards and 1 touchdown, so
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
So, good job.
I mean,
there.
are we ever going to see an exciting Thursday night football game? I feel like all the Thursday night games are pretty boring. It's either a blowout or it's just 2 pretty bad teams playing against each other.
Well, that's what Thursday night is. The real reason that they actually have it is so that every team can get a primetime game.
right. Yeah, because I know every team plays once on Thursday night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So you
get the primetime exposure.
You wonder who is happy they're playing Jacksonville.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's happy to play Jacksonville.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter what week it is when you're playing the Jaguars. Who did the Bears play on Thursday night this week? I mean,
This year?
Yeah.
Dallas.
Okay, the Dallas game is the Thursday night
That
game.
should be interesting.
That's either November or December, and that's usually when Tony
think
Romo
it's in
starts.
December.
I'm
That's-
saying that facetiously, of course,
like,
because I
Well,
really...
Romo doesn't win any games in December or January,
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Romo's only good 1 month out of the season,
and he hasn't even been that great.
and he's
Yeah.
He's the interception king, I believe.
So how about the Giants now? They're at 500, and they're in a pretty. I mean, the NFC East isn't very good, but the Eagles are still hanging.
Yeah, they're undefeated.
But they had a couple comeback wins. Right. You know, I'm not sure how good they're going to be towards the end of the year.
Well, another thing with the Giants is that they're still not even complete because they still got Odell Beckham Jr. coming back from injury.
Right.
Who they drafted in the first round. That could help that offense even more.
I just don't see the Giants outperforming the Eagles.
Yeah,
The Giants are just an average team right now.
I just don't. I can't see it happening. Not without a run game, because the Eagles have LaShawn. The Eagles have Macklin, who's been amazing. We'll talk about Riley Cooper later.
Zach Ertz.
Matthews is showing up, playing really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, their comeback wins were against the Redskins, and then who did they play in Week 2? I'm trying to think who they.
Week 1, didn't they almost lose to Jacksonville?
That was it. Yeah.
Yes.
Week 1, they almost Nick Foles. He was not doing too well, but then they started to turn things around in the second half.
How's he been for you in the fantasy league so far?
Foles has been pretty good. It's always the first half. I'm like, oh my god, why did I pick up Nick Foles? And then the second half, I'm like, yeah, 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Right.
Sproles has been the savior of the team pretty much. He always gets those huge gains.
Yeah.
Did you know Josh McCown has more rushing touchdowns than LaShawn McCoy and Jamal Charles combined?
That's something.
The more you know.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, Shady doesn't even have an 80-yard game yet this year. Or he doesn't even have a game where he averaged 4 yards per carry.
I feel like people forget Sproles is even on the team.
Right, Sproles was phenomenal in that one game.
He
I
had
think, was that against the Colts?
the
it was against the Colts.
56-yard touchdown
He
catch
had like
or
150 or 170 receiving yards.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got picked up by everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to go over people who you should sit and people who you should not sit.
Yeah.
Starting
Up.
and sitting.
You should pick him up.
Right. And we will do that coming back from break. And then also a little later on in the show, we will also have our picks for week 4. This is week 4.
Yes, it is.
So, and we'll also tell you how we did with week 3. So stick around to Fantasy Fanatics, SportsTownChicago.com.
Faster, stronger.
Welcome back to Fantasy Fanatics on SportsTownChicago.com. I'm Ryan Stuprich.
I'm Andrew Freeman.
And I'm Ryan Risky.
Yes.
We're back.
And
we're here.
We are now going to go over our fantasy hot shots, people you should be starting this week.
Fantasy Hot Shots.
Fantasy Hot Shots.
All right. Start it off, Andrew.
Who am I starting this week? Well, let's see here. Who are the Jags playing? They're playing San Diego. So start Phillip Rivers. For the love of God.
I'm starting him over Matt Ryan in my other league.
Yeah.
That's a safe bet.
Matt Ryan's terrible on the road.
I concur with that.
Yeah, I do too. That's pretty smart. Who else do you think you should be starting as far as quarterbacks are concerned? As far as who else besides the Jacksonville game, which is pretty easy.
Quarterbacks, I'd definitely start Kirk Cousins. I think he's an all-around good guy.
Oh, man. Try saying that with a straight face, right?
I had troubles with it. Peyton Manning, of course. You're always going to start Peyton Manning. And I actually am going to keep with Nick Foles, who's on my fantasy team.
I put Andrew Luck over the Titans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be playing him against the Titans, and I think that's a pretty safe bet, especially against my other quarterback, Jay Cutler. Who
They were touting that the Titan defense was so good this year, but they've been destroyed the last 2 games.
They have been.
And I really think at a caliber that Andrew Luck is at, he'll be able to pick that defense apart without a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And Jake Locker, someone they were saying, oh, he's going to have a good year this year.
Completing 56% of his passes.
And he's only thrown 3 touchdowns in 3 weeks.
Yeah, because I know I was looking at something and everyone was saying, oh, you should pick up Jake Locker. He's a great guy to pick up. But yeah, when you're only completing 56% of your passes, that's not
That's
fantasy
Tom
worthy.